This video is sponsored by Squarespace. Spring is literally right around the corner. I can feel it, but that also means it's time for some spring cleaning or spring decluttering. Now, trust me, I get it. Decluttering is not something that I want to spend most of my time doing, especially now that spring is approaching and soon after summer. And I don't know about you, but I've spent more than enough time in the house this last year that I'm ready for some sun, some fresh air, and definitely a clean home to return to after a long day of just enjoying the weather. All right, but first we need to crack open a window or two and start sorting through a year's worth of pandemic living or COVID coziness, because in hindsight, I guess being at home all this time wasn't completely terrible, right? Now, again, I don't know about you, but I don't want this to be a long-term project, which is why I've spent some time searching for faster ways to declutter my space. And from personal experience, I think I have a solid starting point for us. So if you're ready, let's talk about how we can speed this up a bit. Here are 7 ways to declutter faster, or better yet, here are 7 ways to declutter with a purpose. Yeah, I like that. All right, number 1 is determine your focus for your specific decluttering situation. As I'm sure you've noticed, I've framed this conversation around the idea of spring cleaning or spring decluttering. So in this instance, our focus is to toss or donate everything we no longer need or use in preparation for spring. Now, your particular focus may be different, and depending on your reason for needing to purge your clutter with a purpose, you may need to make a few adjustments in your thinking and approach. A couple things to consider are you moving? And if so, what don't you want to pack up, move with you, and deal with later? Maybe you don't need to keep all of your books, for example. Or maybe you're having friends and family over for the first time pre-COVID. And if so, maybe your focus is to declutter your main entertainment space. Or how about this? Maybe you're just looking for a fresh start, an opportunity to reinvent yourself and your space. Or maybe you're just in dire need of a spring cleaning. Either way, determine your focus so that way you can take action effectively and efficiently. Number 2 is approach each day or decluttering session with pre-made decisions. All this means is give yourself a few hard and set rules to follow. Not too many, however, and we'll talk about why that's important later, but setting a few rules is a good idea because it helps you cut back on decision fatigue while you're decluttering, which is a huge time saver, thus making your decluttering sessions faster. So what rules should you consider setting? Number 1 is once something goes into a decluttering box, it stays there. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. You'll end up wasting so much time if you're constantly second guessing and going back and forth and pulling things in and out of your donation pile. If you're not sure, then just don't put it in that box. But once it's in there, it stays. Number 2 is easy. If it's broken, toss it or recycle it. Period. Number 3, when it comes to clothes, maybe you tell yourself if I haven't worn it within the past year, then I don't need it. And of course, you can skip this immediate past year because I think it's safe to say that our pandemic experience isn't an accurate representation of a normal year for us. But nonetheless, I think you get the point here. If you haven't worn it, you're most likely not going to. Number 4, my stuff, my decision. Not my stuff, not my decision. In other words, don't deal with someone else's clutter. And again, we'll talk more about this idea later on. All right, let's get back to our list of 7 ways to declutter fast. Number 3 is start with an easy room or space. The biggest no-no you can do whenever you start a new decluttering session, spring cleaning related or not, especially if it's your first time decluttering altogether, is starting with an area in your home that is filled with sentimental items. Please do not put that pressure on yourself. Decluttering sentimental items is a challenge in itself, and the last thing you want to experience is regret, frustration, or anger in some cases if these are the first items you're attempting to declutter. Instead, I'd suggest leaving these items where they are or moving them together in one location until you build up some momentum and confidence with decluttering. Now, if sentimental items is what you're choosing to focus on, then do that with intention. Remember, at the start of this conversation, we talked about determining your focus for your specific decluttering situation. And if that situation for you is letting go of sentimental items, then slow down and take your time. Don't categorize these things as a part of your spring cleaning, for example. Number 4 is work in layers. Now, I stumbled across this idea when I was searching for a new way to approach decluttering in my personal life. And as you may or may not know, I tend to approach decluttering as I live. So whenever I come across an item I no longer wear, need, or use, I make a decision about it in that moment. And more often than not, it usually ends up in a donation bag right away. Now, this idea of working in layers is actually quite effective, and it's something that I'll continue to use, especially for quick decluttering sessions or spring cleaning like this. The way it works is you set a timer for 10 minutes and you pick one room in your house to focus on. For 10 minutes, the objective is to walk around that room with a large bag and one goal. For example, maybe your goal is to collect items that are broken or trash, and that's it. Or maybe your goal is to collect anything that you want to donate or relocate. Now, when I read about this method of clearing clutter, I was a little taken back by how simple and smart it was. Not only are you decluttering your space more effectively this way, but it forces you to focus on one category of things. And when you do that, you'll usually end up decluttering that space much faster. Now, like I said, I'll be doing this periodically in addition to decluttering as I live. Number 5 is make a decision with confidence. See, if you're sitting there thinking about what to do with a certain item for a long period of time, eventually you'll start to lose momentum and interest in what it is you're doing, which is decluttering. Now, just like anything else we decide to do in life, we have to be able to make a decision when it comes to decluttering also. Do I want to keep it? Do I want to toss it? Or do I want to donate it? What's it going to be? Now, here's a little secret for you. Come here. Feeling unsure is an okay decision also. If you need more time or if you're just not ready to let something go, that's fine. Move at a pace that's comfortable for you. I've talked about this in other videos as well. However, just don't make a habit out of keeping things you don't need. And if you need help or guidance as you're thinking through your clutter and deciding what to do, I put together a decluttering checklist for you. If you want it, all you have to do is head over to my website at ronaldlbanks.com/declutter and grab it. Now, speaking of websites, I have to give a quick shout out to Squarespace for not only making it easy for me to provide you with free downloads like this, but for also making it super simple to create a beautiful website for both personal and business. If you're not familiar with Squarespace, they're an all-in-one platform to help you build a beautiful online presence. Everything from blogging and telling your story to collecting donations if your project calls for that. You can even set up and send amazing email campaigns, which is the exact feature I'm using to share this detailed decluttering checklist with you. Now, if you're looking to set up a website of your own for personal or business, then don't skip out on Squarespace. In fact, check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And then when you're ready to launch your project, go to squarespace.com/RonaldLBanks to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. All right, number 6 is don't deal with someone else's clutter. I briefly mentioned this earlier as one of the hard and fast rules you should set for yourself, and I stand by that 100%. If an item does not belong to you, don't touch it. The worst thing you can do is declutter someone else's stuff without their permission or knowledge. To be completely transparent with you, this is actually a conversation Alexis and I had early on a few years ago after some items were decluttered. So take it from us and don't do it. Declutter what's yours, and that's it. Number 7 is have fun. If you're taking yourself in this decluttering journey way too serious, then you're also going to take way too long to get through all of your clutter. See, if you're overly serious, there's a good chance that you're also tense. And if you're tense, I can bet that you're overthinking, moving slowly, and not showing confidence in your decisions. Remember earlier we talked about setting hard and fast rules? Well, this is why you don't want to set too many rules, because at the same time, you don't want to restrict yourself from enjoying the process. See, there has to be a balancing act of some sort that you have to find for you. So as you go and start your spring cleaning or spring decluttering, just remember to have fun and don't let it take longer than it has to. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up for me. Also, comment below a few things that you're planning to do for your spring cleaning or spring decluttering. I'd love to know. Also, if this is your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm glad to have you here. Consider hitting that subscribe button down below so you can join this community and grow with all of us here. Always remember to stay true to you, because I'm always staying true to me. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.